Let's do it.
Yeah, we're on. Yep. Alright, we're good below.
Right. Righto. Saturday in the bunker. How are you?
Good, man. How good's the Saturday bunker session?
Mate, let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm
So
pumped.
what are we talking about tonight? Mindset, the power of the mind.
Yeah, power of the mind. What were you touching on before? Epigenetics?
Epigenetics, yeah,
Epigenetics,
the
sorry.
power of the mind, and that you are not, epigenetics says that you are not doomed by your genes.
Yeah, so true.
Interesting one.
Yeah, so we'll touch on obviously Chris will touch on the mind side of it. I'll try and touch on the body side and the nutrition side of it, and yeah, see if you guys get some value.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
You want to kick us off?
Yeah, let's go. So we're talking about the subconscious brain and the power of the subconscious brain, right? So as humans, we operate from up to 95% from our subconscious brain. And for many of us, you hear of the subconscious brain and you're like, what the fuck is that? Like, you know, I remember me years ago when I was first learning about it, like about 4 or 5 years ago, subconscious brain, I'm like, what the fuck, don't we just have one brain? What do you mean? Conscious, unconscious? So there's like the conscious brain, we operate from up to 5% from. And this is, your conscious mind has short-term memory, logical thinking, critical thinking. It's kind of like helps you to survive, to make quick decisions.
Pretty much like where your flight or flight sort of comes into play.
Yeah, your fight or flight, right? So to be able to act quickly and get you the fuck out of there quickly, right? And your subconscious mind has your long-term memories. It has your beliefs, your values. It has your intuition. So it is really like the hardware of the mind. Like it's like the what do you call it on a computer? Like the big hub thing of a computer. Like it's the powerhouse of everything, right? So everything we do out of is kind of can come out of a subconscious level, right? So like, you know, to put it in for a quick metaphor, do you know how like when you're first learning to drive, like let's just say it was manual, and you're struggling just to change gears and drive, right? And then after a year or 2 years, you're able to change gears, like talking on the phone, eating a burger on the run, thinking.
Not suggesting.
Not suggesting, but this obviously happens just in your dreams.
100%. Yeah.
But and then you just get home and you're like, fuck, how the fuck did I get home? I don't even hardly remember driving. That's your subconscious brain, right? It has your long-term memories, right? It has your values, your beliefs. Like it's really the hardwire. So the importance of that is to work on your subconscious mind is that it takes minimum 21 to 90 days to influence the subconscious brain, right? And this is why, let's just say you're depressed, right? Generally, when you get depressed is that you're ruminating on negative thoughts and all the things that you dislike that happened to you, that you fucking hated, right? And you ruminate on it, and after 21 to 90 days, it forms a belief. So now your normal language in your mind is negative. So now you become depressed, and then it's a vicious cycle. Then 180 day goes, 2 years, and your mind, now your subconscious mind is programmed to be negative.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, if you want to be positive and happy or good at something, it takes minimum 21 to 90 days to influence the subconscious brain through auto-suggestion. So, and through taking action. So that's why you have incantations that you read every day. You know, I am strong, I am powerful, you know, and you visualize yourself doing it, right? Because the subconscious brain does not know the difference whether it happened or it didn't. So that is the crazy thing. Like it doesn't know if there's a tiger under your bed or there's not. If you visualize it, that there's a tiger under your bed, it will give you the same body's response as, you know, fight or flight, and you'll get sweaty hands as if it was just there. That's how the subconscious brain doesn't know the difference, right? But many people will work on their minds, let's just say to be happy or in a business or to get muscles or whatever for 14 days or something. And then they'll be like, I'm still depressed, I'm still anxious or whatever, this shit doesn't work. Yeah. Right?
It's so common that you see people just come through and they want to see results straight after 14 days. You know what I mean? You got to put in the time, as you said, 21. And that's like the start, like 21, but it's to 90 days. So like it could happen day 86.
That's the bare minimum. Bare minimum. So you can imagine 90 days is like 21 to 90 days is the bare minimum to start getting some shifts, right? But then obviously if you work on your mind for 2 years, 5 years, you become a master.
Snowball effect.
So, you know, and it takes 10,000 hours to be a master at something. And this is the thing, every master was once a disaster. And the thing is, no one wants to be the disaster. They want to just be the master.
Straight to the master, 100%.
And unfortunately or fortunately, I kind of, enjoy the hustle. I enjoy the grind of being the disaster and pushing through. But a lot of people don't, right? They see this like as a failure, as like a negative thing. And, like negativity spreads 8 times faster than positivity. So, whether that's the news telling you negative things or someone called you a name or whatever it is, it's 8 times more faster and stronger than a positive thought. So you have to override a negative thought or something negative in your life 8 times with a positive just to outride it. So that's why you literally have to be the gatekeeper of your mind. You have to be careful what you let in, what you keep in, right? Because even if you're sitting at home and you're just on the dinner table or something and your parents have the news on and it's all negative and whatever, you're not really listening, but subconsciously it listens to every little thing. And if you listen to that for 21 to 90 days minimum, you'll start to act out of fear because of the news. And you'll start to, whatever's going on in the news, you'll get fear. You become a fearmonger, or whatever's happening in the news, it will control you, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why TV programming as well, they have some subliminal messages in the TV to program us, to keep us, thinking. They want us to be in fear because we're so easy to be able to be controlled. Just like all of a sudden there's a coronavirus, oh, we need to go get toilet paper. Like 80% of people go and get toilet paper, right? Out of fear.
Yeah.
And they follow everybody. So that's how easy it is just by the news to control everyone. But
would you say that's from the conscious mindset? You know what I mean? Is it coming from obviously that trying to stay alive, trying to, find a solution that then and there, instead of being, like learning from sort of your past experiences that like everything's going to be okay? Would you say that's
it? So consciously you're coming from it, you're looking at the news and your logical and critical thinking is like, holy fuck, I've got to go. And we all have that thinking.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, we all have an ego. We all have that little man or woman in your head. I call mine Barry. So when Barry starts blabbering on, I'm like, and this is a really powerful tool, when your ego, the little man in your head, starts blabbering on, because he doesn't shut up. You can never make him or her shut up. It does not stop, right? It'll always be talking. So you want to tame it. It's not about shutting it up. You want to be able to tame it, and you want to be the observer of your thoughts. So when something negative comes, right, think of it as you're the observer, you're not your thought. So think of it like somebody else saying, hey, you're a fucking loser. Would you believe that person? Just like your ego, it might tell you things out of fear, and like its job is to keep you alive and survive.
Yeah.
So it's going to take you to the worst possible outcome always. So let's just say a perfect one in this day and age, and I know like it's happened to me, is that you have let's just say you have a partner for like 6 months or a year, right? And let's just say him or her wasn't answering their phone for like hours. They were out, they weren't answering their phone or whatever. You sent them messages, you saw that the messages were read, they never got back to you or something whatever. Like majority of us, our mind will go to the worst possible outcome. He must be cheating on me, she must be cheating on me, or he's doing something. You'll go straight away, instead of thinking, maybe he could be doing a surprise for me. Maybe he's getting me flowers. Maybe he's with my mother-in-law, or maybe he's with my mum, or maybe he's doing something positive or great. We 9.5% out of 10, we don't think that way. We think of the worst possible outcome, and that's okay, because your mind is trained to take us to the worst possible outcome. It's a 2 million year old brain that is built for you to survive. So it's a great benefit when like you need to cross the road and it will tell you fucking look right, look left, you could die. Like that's the worst possible outcome, but it keeps you survivable. And like 2 million years ago when there were saber-toothed tigers, let's just say we're walking and 10 meters there's a corner. Your mind will straight away go to the worst possible outcome. Be careful, there could be a tiger there, right?
Yeah.
Just in case, because you don't want to get to that corner and not be ready. Like you want to be ready, right? Or like, oh, there could be a tiger in those shrubs. What's that noise? Instead of thinking, oh, it's nothing, it's just the wind, your mind will go, it's a fucking tiger. It could be a tiger.
Well, it's hard to sort of because your brain, if you brought on those positive thoughts 2 million years ago or whatever, when there was positive, like you know what I mean, saber-toothed tigers, you could be just keep, oh yeah, no, it's probably a nice little butterfly.
It's just but it wasn't.
And then see you later.
So that's right. So that's
but
why
we have to change that. Because we're not in that environment anymore.
Yeah, bro.
We're in the present day. We need. That's what you're saying, is that you need to be the observer of your thoughts, because you aren't governed by that, and you're not in that do or die situation
Yeah,
anymore.
man. So we have a 2 million year old brain, and it's designed to protect us from, you know, it's still the same brain we had 2 million years ago when there was, you know, saber-tooth tigers and other tribes, and you had to fight with spears, and other tribes tried to overtake your tribe and all that sort of shit. And you had to go out and hunt together and hunt, you know, deer and all that sort of stuff. So it comes from that, but that way of thinking now doesn't generally help us in this day and age. We don't have a saber-tooth tiger. Our saber-tooth tiger now is to go to work or get a pay rise or, you know, that's kind of our saber-tooth tiger now.
But also in saying that, like back in the day, we didn't have to come home and worry about bills. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. That's the
marriages,
saber-tooth tiger now.
You know what I mean? You didn't have a boss. That
You
was
didn't
going,
have a
"Hey,
phone like that's telling you millions of messages a day and stressing your brain out.
100%.
Thinking.
So sort of like on like a body sort of side of it, when you come back from that sort of event, your body has to shut down, you know what I mean? Get rid of the cortisol levels, get rid of all that. Because you're able to do that, you know, you're back with your tribe, you feel safe, you know what I mean? You're in touch. Obviously, back then, it was like a lot of barefoot, so people involved there in nature, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you feel that comfortable and you can relax. But now, it's like, we get those things, but then we just don't shut them off.
Phone's still sending
Phone's
emails.
still there, emails are going, you come home, you might have problems with your family, stuff like that, so things are always going on. So it's about that, finding that, not escape, but like, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through reading books, whatever sort of brings you back. And what you were saying before is, you know what I mean, don't let it govern you. You control your thoughts.
You are the observer.
Observer,
Mate,
sorry, yeah.
Great. So, like, yeah, it's great you said that. So, like you say, we have a phone now, and how many, I know I've done it many times, is that you get, especially my work phone, when I used to work as a construction manager, majority of the emails or whatever are just problems. As in construction, all it is, you're basically a problem solver. Like, you plan stuff, there's always problems. It doesn't matter how it's smooth, there's always some problem. So when there's emails, like, you know, you get 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 emails a day, like 90% of them are negative. How do you sort this out? So if you see an email come in, like straight away your mind takes you to the worst possible outcome, like this is going to be bad, like, right? But it could be great. Like, it could be a 5-star review from a client, or it could be like, hey, we just figured out this was awesome. But generally it's not. But even if there's not just emails from work or text messages, you know, like, oh, here's a perfect one. When your partner or your boss or something says, hey, I need to talk to you. What do we think?
We need to talk.
Hey, we need to talk.
Yeah.
Straight away, what do you think? Fuck, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah, 100%.
We don't at all ever think, like, this is going to be great. Maybe he's going to give me a pay rise.
Yeah.
Maybe
Promotion.
my partner wants to give me a head job. Maybe this is going to be fucking, like, maybe she wants to surprise me. Like, no, we don't think that way. But the thing is, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
You're not.
That's what we need.
You're not gonna change your 2 million year old brain. It's to be able to deal with it. It's to use it in your benefit. So when it tells you these things, when little Barry starts harping on, it says, say, yeah, hey Barry, thank you for that thought. That was great. But I think it could be this X, Y, and Z. So it's about being conscious, right? Because when we're unaware and unconscious of it, Barry can just fucking blabber on. And if you act on what everything Barry says, because he's there to protect you and he's going to give you worst possible outcome, you're going to be negative, depressed, you're going to be that. So it's about taming Barry, and because, like, again, you don't shut him up, you just say, thank you, Barry. So,
but it's also what you were saying before about the subconscious mind. You keep training that with positive thoughts, and that keeps building up.
Or negative, or positive, the same.
You know what I mean? So then when you have that, as you're saying, 2 years in, you know, when it comes across something like, oh, hey, we need to talk, you know what I mean? You have that reinforcement of 2 years of positivity that you're going to go, no, Barry, like, relax, man. Let's just see what happens. We're good.
Yeah,
you know
man,
what I mean?
Totally. And knowing that you don't want to avoid things. As soon as that email comes in and you want to avoid it, what are you avoiding? You put it down, you don't want to see the email, like, so that you're still going to see that email. So you're making it worse. You're making it like it was like the email was just a little baby tiger. And then when you put it away, now you're making it a bigger tiger because you're like creating fear. Like you're like, oh fuck, what could it be? Oh my god! It's about when you see it, even if it could be not so great email, no matter what it is, you know you can handle it, right? That is the power, not being like, oh fuck, I can't handle it, whatever. Because you're gonna have to handle it. Like your problems ain't gonna go away. They're going to go away for 1 hour, 1 day, maybe, if you can do that. But they ain't going to go away. That email's still going to be there that you're going to have to answer it. You know, like, so it's about, but there is time and place. Like, you shouldn't be looking at your emails 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, because that's going to create stress and anxieties, right? So you don't want to be, if your emails and all that affect you in that way, you want to train yourself, okay, whatever time it is, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, okay, Ryan, we don't look at emails from after that, because I know what's going to happen. I'll look at an email, and if you're a high achiever or you like your job or whatever, sometimes you can get into it, all of a sudden your emails and it's 11, 12 o'clock, and like you're waking up at 6 and you're like, fuck, why did I do that? I could have sorted it out tomorrow.
Well, that's
so time management.
That's why we sort of need to bring it back to that hunter-gatherer, where, when you're going out hunting, it is stressful. Yes. And then when you're coming back home, hey, this is your sanctuary, this is where you switch off, you know what I mean?
Totally.
You brought back the food, because that's what we're trained to do. Like, as much as it's crazy and like how civilized and that we are, and we've got technology, we're doing podcasts and stuff like that, our brain is still in that 2 million, like it's 2 million brain. It's the same brain. Same brain. As you were saying, we've got to get that cut off, whether it's 6, 7, 8 o'clock, where you just go, look, this is it, shutting down, man. And
you need to train yourself that when, like, so for me, when I was a construction manager, I used to have so much stress and building like up to 22 houses at one time with like $80 million of revenue and all that. It was stressful, right? But what I did was, say I'd drive home at like 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and I'd be in my car for sometimes half an hour, sometimes even 2 hours. My car would be on at the front of my house. I'd be doing emails and making my calls, because as soon as I get out of that car, the phone is off. I don't, like, unless I really, really have to, I get my work done at work. And then when I come home, sometimes you have to do a little bit, but you want to do your majority of your work at work. So you don't want to be working in bed. If you go to work at your desk, because you want to train your body and your mind. When you get to bed, that is relax and sleep time, right? It's not time to, because we're a creature of habit. So if we know when you go to bed is going to stimulate our mind, our natural thing when we get to bed is like, oh no, I stay up, I read Instagram and I fucking shoot emails. Like, that's a desk, that's working. Bed is for sleeping. So we know when we hit that pillow, it's to relax and sleep. And you're training yourself. So as soon as the brain knows subconsciously, and remember, 21 to 90 days, that's all it takes to start training it, positive, negative, or a new habit, that's what it takes. So when you hit that pillow, like, all right, that's relax time. Instead of like you hit that pillow, all right, it's time to do emails, it's time to do all this, it's time to do all that. And even for me, sometimes I'm guilty of it, because I'll get in bed and the stock market in America starts at 11:30 p.m. Obviously, I'm going to bed like around 10:30, 11, and I like to read a book, or sometimes I watch like YouTube clips on some educational video or something like that while I sleep or whatever. But then, I'll be like, oh, the stock market opens at 11, I'll just stay up, and then I want to watch the stocks. Oh, mate, I'll buy some and I'll sell it. And then it's like I'm doing work in bed, and I've noticed when I trained myself after a couple of weeks of doing that, I was like, fuck, I gotta stop. No. It's like, no, can't be doing this in bed, right? Like, and that's like, if you want to wake up, and I was noticing when I was waking up in the morning, I was a lot more fresh when I didn't do stocks and all that bullshit. I let myself sleep, get all the cortisol, relax, and I had a way better sleep, right? So, that's important, like, to get the proper rest.
Yeah, well, 100%, like, even blue light, like, I don't, like, blue light's massive, man.
Yeah.
Because we resonate that with the sun. So if you're on your laptop or on your phone in bed, you know what I mean, that's firing you up going, well, this is sunlight.
Man, sometimes those blue lights on the TV or whatever, they can be pretty bright.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's like you go to see me like, fuck, that's bright. Like, so
especially like if you're waking up during the night and like going to the toilet multiple times and stuff like that. Generally, if you're in bed watching TV or something like that, or you're stressed, that's because, like, have you ever been out, like, say you used to do BMX, right?
Yeah.
Say you had a big comp coming up and you're nervous, the first thing you want to do is pee, right?
Yeah, always.
Yeah, that's the same thing if you're in that cortisol and that fight or flight. So if you ever have people that waking up in the middle of 2-3 times a night, that's because they're going to bed too stressed and their body's still going, hey, we've still got that we have to get rid of.
Why do they do that, Ryan? Is that because the body is cortisol, so it wants to release like the fluid so it can run faster? Like what is it? Just nerves? Cortisol just does what is that?
Yeah, well, obviously it just tries to preserve as much energy as it can, and if we can get rid of liquid quickly, which we can because we
cannot carry it.
Yeah, we cannot carry it, so we're obviously going to run faster. It's all survival techniques, you know what I mean? There's so many different, like your pupils dilate, so you can take in more light, so you can see more things for like stuff like that. Your vessels dilate and stuff like that, so you can pump more oxygen. But what it actually does is it shrinks them on your organs because obviously you don't need to digest food or worry about anything like that when you're trying to run from a saber-tooth tiger. You need blood pumped to your like skeletal system, like your muscles and stuff like that, so you can run or fight or do anything that you need to like that. So that's why it's actually really bad, is because if you've got like too much cortisol running around your body, your organs and stuff aren't going to be functioning properly because you're constantly like, oh, I'm ready to fight, you know what I mean? I'm ready. And that's like how high blood pressure comes about. That's how all those things, and it's just a vicious cycle, man. Yeah. And as you were saying, if you don't switch off and you're on your laptop, on your phone, you're not getting that good night's sleep, and you're not relaxing and getting back to zen. It's
totally, man. And that's it. Like, you know, like rest is just as important as hustling. Like you need it. And like, you know, you hear all these fucking bullshit things. Oh man, you know, I wake up 3 a.m. and fucking blah blah blah, and you sleep 3-4 hours. No. Man, don't believe all that bullshit. They could do that. Maybe they wake up, they have 4 hours sleep, and then they have a 2-3 hour nap at 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. or something. Like, you know, the body does need rest, and you can, you know, I function a lot well on 6 hours, but I notice when I get 7-8 hours, a lot better. But you can 6 hours, but if you're getting under 6, like you're really, really, really pushing your body, it's not recovering, especially if you're going to the gym and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, definitely put the phones away and get the proper decent rest.
Yeah, and they've shown in multiple studies, like not only the cognitive effects, like your memory's better when you have an 8 hours sleep.
Yeah. Oh man.
Concentration's way better. Your focus is way better. Yeah. Even physiologically, like you can strip fat way better. Like they've done studies where they put people through 6 hours sleep, through I think it was like a 6-week cycle of 6 hours sleep, and then they did a 6-week cycle where they slept for 9 hours plus, and literally they were doing the same thing, same calories, but the 9 hours plus burnt 30% more calories.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And they lost 30% more fat.
Yeah. Wow.
So
the body's optimized.
That's literally all it was from getting those 3 extra hours sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
Like steroids isn't going to give you 30% more fat.
Yeah. No, that's it.
I mean? Just from literally getting that. So. It's all good. Like if you want to go out and hustle and do the 6 hour sleep and stuff like that, or not 6 hours, but 4 or 5 hours sleep,
you can do it for a short period of time.
Yeah,
short period of time.
But even still, man, like it just matters what your priorities are, I guess.
Yeah.
Like in the long run, these things are going to stack up. And as you said, it's a similar thing to your mindset. You know, you go 21 to 90 days.
Yeah.
That same thing can happen physiologically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally, man.
Once that cycle starts, once that cortisol gets going, because what happens is cortisol actually, when it comes back around, cortisol switches off the cortisol, which it sounds kind of weird.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah, so obviously your hypothalamus governs it all, sends down a response from visual or whatever it is that you're getting.
Yeah.
Sends down a response, stress response, all the neurotransmitters and hormones are released. So how it works, it just goes around the body, sets everything off, as I was saying before, shuts down organs, pumps blood to the muscles, dilates, all that type of thing. But then when it comes back around and the stress is gone or the threat is gone, the cortisol actually turns it back off and goes, hey, no, we're sweet now.
Oh, wow, it governs itself.
Yeah, but what happens if you have chronic stress, so that's like with acute stress, it can turn it back off. But if you have a chronic stress, it'll just...
The stress just stays on.
It stays on, and then it actually becomes immune to the cortisol. So when it comes back around, it goes... Yeah, no, it just goes, hey, this keeps going. And it actually becomes immune to it. So then it just keeps going, right? And like, yeah, it's a vicious cycle, man, where it just won't turn itself off.
Yeah, I didn't really know that side of it. Yeah. So with what I know with stress and cortisol, anxiety, so you know, stress is cortisol and anxiety is adrenaline, right? And you know, they both get released. They're kind of like brother and sister. They're kind of like cousins. They both kind of work together, right? And so, but they're both healthy for you. And this is the thing, we're kind of tricked that anxiety is like bad for you. Like anxiety, we need stress and anxiety. Like I would not be able to do my job. Even this podcast, I would have got a certain amount of stress or anxiety before going on. It would have got my heart pumping a little bit faster, all right? And your response to it, so, you know, when we get stressed or anxious, a lot of us panic, right? And we're like, oh fuck, I'm getting anxious, I'm getting nervous. And you're like, oh no, I can't do this, right? And you know, your palms get sweaty. And that's, you know, anxiety. And you're like, oh, no, yeah. And like, so you back away from it and you're like, oh fuck. So you are actually training yourself to be more anxious about being anxious. And you're getting more stressed about being stressed. So you are actually getting anxious and stressed, and then you're stressing yourself out about being stressed, and you're making yourself more anxious about being anxious. So it's like a fucking double hit. So you're gonna inject even more adrenaline, more cortisol in your body, and that's when we can get into panic and like where we're afraid of our own body, we're afraid of emotion. So a little trick is that, you know, they used to say that stress is really bad for you, which stress over a long period of time, it is. It's not good for the cardiovascular system, right? Because your blood vessels actually dilate. So, you know, your blood vessels for your heart, let's just say they're that big, yeah? When in a stressed heart, the blood vessels don't actually get smaller. It's the ring gets more stressed out, so the hole becomes smaller, so the heart can't pump it through, and the ring just becomes really stressed, okay? Then when there's no stress, it opens up, and the ring, just the muscle becomes like less contracted, so it can pump through. So the best way to handle stress and anxiety is your body's response to the way you think. So when it comes, be aware of it and say, oh great, I'm having anxiety right now. Okay, great, I can feel myself getting stressed. Like sometimes I can feel my chest tightening up if I'm stressed. Or I can feel my heart racing, you know, and I've had anxiety, you know, I was on antidepressants before, I was on panic attacks, you know, many years ago. And I used to be scared of my own body, right? And your body's response to it, the way you think, so you say, when your heart's pumping, say, oh great, that's my heart pumping more blood, so it's giving me more strength, it's giving me more power, more response time, right? Oh, I can feel my chest tightening, I'm breathing heavily, all right, great, that's more oxygen to my brain to make me able to think faster, to be more reactive and all that, right? So, that's what it kind of is doing. Like, it's helping you be that way, right?
100%. It's making you to be stronger so you can survive.
Right. So 100%. Now, instead of sending more cortisol and adrenaline and anxiety because I was stressed about being stressed and anxious about it being anxious, now I'm like, my body, my brain is, when I feel that anxiety or stress, I'm like, this is great. So your body's response will be totally different than if, oh my God, I'm scared. Because now you're actually, on a subconscious level, making those feelings and cortisol and anxiety like a fucking big demon. And now you're getting scared of your whole body. As soon as you feel anxiety or stress, you're like, I can't do this, I can't do this. When you can, and you can handle even more, but it's your mindset to be able to go, oh, this is great. This is my body responding in a positive way. This is giving me more energy, more oxygen. This is a game changer. It's helped me so much with anxiety, stress, and things like that. Like I said, as a construction manager, handling like 22 houses at one time, high revenue, millions of dollars in revenue, very stressful. So much things going on. And the biggest way is like when you feel that, it's like, oh, this is great. All right, give me more. So now you actually enjoy it. It's like you play a trick. You play a trick on stress and anxiety. So, you know, obviously if you're happy, it's not going to send out stress and anxiety, is it? So it's like a great way to manage it. And the hugest one, Ryan, this is the biggest one. If you haven't listened to anything, this is the biggest tip so far, is that stress is cortisol. And the biggest way to get rid of stress, almost instantly, natural way, is to practice through love or gratitude, which releases oxytocin. If anyone that doesn't know, oxytocin is the love hormone or cuddle hormone. And oxytocin can kill cortisol levels almost instantly. So it's like, it's actually, do you know whenever you're stressed or something and you come home and there's someone you love or your dog, whatever, and you hug that person and you have that deep breath and you're like, instantly it's like a weight taken off. You're like, oh fuck, like, it's like the oxytocin's going in you and killing the cortisol almost instantly. And the great thing about oxytocin is that it can repair damages caused to the cardiovascular system from cortisol. So oxytocin is like life. It is your body, and you're depending on oxytocin. So we live in a stress epidemic society, and it's caused by a lack of gratitude. We love to focus on everything we don't have, and how am I not gonna, like, I don't have this, I don't have that, like, right? All the stress, instead of focusing on everything you do have, right? And being grateful for just the legs you walk on. Because if right now I chop your legs off, you go to the hospital, in a month, 2 months, 3 months, you would want nothing more but to have your legs to walk. So be grateful for them now. Be grateful for you're healthy now. Be grateful for everything in your life, your parents, your food, whatever, even the little things. And practicing just 10 minutes a day on gratitude has been proven to be a game changer in oxytocin, handling stress levels, and just your overall well-being.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Couldn't agree anymore. And it just comes exactly back to what you said before with the 21 to 90 days building the subconscious. Like, if you just see things from a positive perspective, and you've ingrained that in yourself after repetition and repetition, what you're talking about of 10 minutes of gratitude each day.
Yes.
Those problems just seem less and less, you know what I mean?
They
and
do.
As you said, we've taken on anxiety and stress and turned it into a positive, like, yes, you're making me stronger, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, you're making me stronger.
And now you're releasing gratitude for thank you, like, thank you, I'm so strong. And it's like you almost turn into the Hulk. Like, literally you feel like, like.
And you're loving your body as well, you know what I mean? You're saying, well, thank you for looking after me. But then it's also like, but we're good, we got this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you're also releasing that oxytocin for yourself, not only, as you said, obviously for your loved ones and stuff like that, but you're also doing it for yourself, relaxing.
You can release oxytocin with yourself through gratitude and things like that.
100%.
So, guys, like, looking at Google oxytocin, it is like one of the most healthiest things for you that the natural body can give. And love is so healthy for you. And gratitude is so healthy for you. And I always wondered, how like Eastern cultures, a lot of them pray, and they've been doing it for thousands of years. They pray and stuff, right? And kind of Western cultures, especially in Australia, we're not really ones to kind of pray.
Yeah.
Like, we're not really
Not
big
the most
believers
religious.
in the God or Jesus, and we don't really pray and things like that. But I now understand why they do that, because they're practicing like gratitude in their own way. Like, they're thanking their God, whatever you believe in, Buddha, Allah, whatever it is, they're like thanking, they're believing in a higher power, right? And it's releasing gratitude, it's releasing oxytocin, because they're like practicing like consciousness, they're like practicing gratitude, where a lot of Eastern cultures, they don't really have, and it's kind of a meditation what they do. It's almost like their own thousands of years of meditation where they get grounded, they practice gratitude. Like, I remember,
community.
Like, as you know, I'm half Italian, and my mum, I used to have a nonna before they passed away, and my nonna used to make us hold hands, and we would say grace. Someone in the table, my dad would say it, my nonna would say it, my nonna, and we'd all say, we'd close our eyes and say, hey, thank you for this bread, thank you for this day, thank you for bringing this family together. And like, at the time, I was kind of like, I was only kind of like growing up from 0 to kind of like maybe 14 years old before she passed away. And I was kind of like, okay, like, I didn't really understand it. But as I grew older, I was like, fuck, thank you for that. Like, that was amazing. And I kind of wish I enjoyed it more, but I didn't really understand it. And like, we don't do that. My parents don't do that. Like, Western culture, no one really does that. But Eastern cultures, like, Middle East or, places in Europe, they still practice this stuff. And, I think I'm going to bring it into my family, actually. Like, I think it's something great, but you don't have to do that, but it's just a practice that they've been doing for thousands of years. And some of them live in some of the harshest countries and places in the world, and they're still fucking happier than people in Sydney or LA or wherever. How the fuck can that be, right? Because they're not focusing on everything they don't have. They're focused on everything they do have, even if it's not that much, right? But it's a mindset, right? Like, how can like Australians and Americans have some of the highest suicide rates? Like, for instance, Australia has something like 50 on average, suicides per week, and up to 80% of them are male, right? That's per week in Australia. Like, it's one of the nicest countries, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, and same as in America, it's you know, it's a land of opportunity and all that. It's because we're comparing, and it's a mindset. It's like, and obviously there's other complications, but a lot of it, and as I can talk about this personally, going from in depression and suicidal thoughts, and I was on antidepressants and I was still depressed, right? And that was going through ruminating on negative thoughts of my girlfriend cheating on me. And thinking on everything she did have, and focusing on that I was a loser, that I let her do it to me, and all this kind of shit, right? And but I've gone through similar things, and I'm able to focus on different and practice gratitude, and it's a fucking game changer. And yeah, so the practice of gratitude is fucking huge for your mental and body overall well-being, and I feel it's just not practiced nowhere near enough in Western societies. And you know, it's proven that we live in a stress epidemic society caused by the lack of gratitude, right? Yeah. We're very ungrateful. Oh, she got this, how come I don't have this? Oh, he's got 3 cameras on his phone, I've only got 2. Like, you know, and it's like,
3 cameras is the game.
It is.
That close enough.
It is pretty cool.
No, but 100% I know what you're saying, man. Like, gratitude is the game changer, and it's something that needs to be practiced every day. You know what I mean? You don't just wake up one day and it's like, oh, I'm so grateful. You know what I mean? Like, I know for myself, I got to write down, I got to think about it. You know what I mean?
Over time.
Yeah, over time. Obviously, it becomes a lot easier once you do it, but it's just something that you just have to do. You just have to dive into it, and you have to be doing it for that 21 to 90 days. You have to build that habit. You have to build that positivity, because at the end of the day, no one's going to change your mindset but you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And gratitude, as you're saying, is one of the easiest and quickest way to do it, I think, as well.
Mate, it's huge. And yeah, like you touch on it, is that it takes 21 to 90 days to get into the habit, and it's going to be the hardest. From the 0 to 21 days is the hardest to get into that repetition and trying to think grateful and blah 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 in anything you do, even going to the gym, right? Like, but then once you get that routine and you handle that, your muscles tear, and you handle that, you know, gratitude, and you start thinking, then your mind becomes a grateful mind, and it becomes easy. When, like, I'm even grateful for my ex-girlfriend cheating on me, because she led me to becoming this person that I had. Because I was in such pain, I had to turn to like seminars and Tony Robbins, and, you know, getting coaches and mentors. And the more I got into podcasts and reading, because, you know, I was like, how the fuck am I depressed? I was looking for every way possible to get out. I tried drugs, party drugs. I overdosed on drugs. I tried, you know, exercising. I tried going on holidays. These are all temporary fixes.
Yep.
And the biggest one was working on myself and investing in myself, in my mind. And the more I did, the more I found that the mind, how powerful it is. It can literally send you to depression and suicide. It can do equally the same as send you from happiness, joy, and excitement. But it's such a mindset. And you like, I now am so strong and confident in my mindset that when not so great things happen in my life, they can be terrible, I can see it as for what it is and be like, all right, this sucks. This really sucks. And I feel the emotions. But it's like, I let it come, I feel it for a week or 2 weeks, whether I cry or whether, you know, I'm anxious or whether I'm depressed, whatever, for that moment. And it's normal to be anxious and depressed. It's a normal human emotion. We like trick that you're not meant to feel this.
Yeah.
And you're like weak if you're not. And sometimes you're just in that funk and you just gotta feel shit. And that's okay, right? Feel shit. If something not so great, feel it, let it come, and let it go. And you know, where focus goes, energy flows. So you need to, when you're going through a challenging time, and we all do, and, you know, if you haven't yet, you're fucking about to, right? We all, you know, lose a loved one. You're going to get smacked in the face by life. One, you know, you're going to lose a job, or you're going to, whatever it's going to be, it's going to happen. And your mindset is going to be the greatest asset or your worst enemy.
100%.
Right? So, yeah, work on that mindset.
That's the one. That's the hot tip for the day. Work on that mindset.
The subconscious. Yeah. Get on that subconscious mind. I don't know why we're not taught this in school.
Yeah.
Like how powerful it is. Yeah. And almost everything you do in life is coming from your subconscious level. Like your beliefs, everything. Like to form a belief is through 21 to 90 days of talking and believing, and then it forms a belief. So you can believe that I'm shit at this, or I'm no good at this, or I'm ugly, or I'm fat, or I'm overweight. That'll become a belief, and then you'll believe that and you'll act that way. Or you can say, I'm strong, I'm confident, I'm powerful, and that can turn it into a belief. So now you act strong, confident, and powerful. Like it is just, it's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do.
Yeah.
Like
it's the same. It's a flip of the coin both ways. You know what I mean? You can either go negative with it, you can go positive with it. You can trick your mind straight away too. You know what I mean? Posture, everything like that. It's just putting in the time, putting in the work, and as you said, sticking to it for 21 to 90 days.
Yeah, man. So that's it.
Hope you've enjoyed.
In the bunker.
Saturdays. Let's go.